Megan speaking.
Megan, Kevin, J. Johnston, Calgary Mayor, like giving you a call. I figure this is a whole lot easier.
Great. How's it going?
I'm doing fantastic. Always. How about you?
Good, thank you. So are you up for doing an interview in response to this?
I am up to an interview at any time of the day.
Okay.
Especially considering the fact that your first email to me pretty much indicates that you're planning on libeling me in this. I'm thinking, man, I got to talk to this woman because that's pretty. That's pretty ballsy.
Give me a second while I set up my call recorder here.
Of course.
Okay. Do I still have you there?
I'm still here.
Okay, perfect. So the focus of the article is the fact that you have made what some would perceive as threats online and trying to get people's personal information, addresses.
First things first. Let's cover that statement right there. Your statement that I've issued threats, that's absolutely inaccurate. What I've done is I've issued a promise to the key brass and to the inspectors of Alberta Health Services. The day that I take office as mayor of Calgary, we're going to be sending Calgary Police Services out to go and arrest them for the following charges: intimidation, criminal trespass, criminal harassment, extortion, and terrorism. That's exactly what I've told them all. And AHS people who feel that they've got the right to trespass in people's businesses and tell people that they're going to be shut down if they don't pay exorbitant fines should be in prison for that type of behavior, because that's completely outside of the law. I made a promise, not a threat. And AHS called you guys to complain, I'm sure. They called the police to complain. That I do know, because the police called me to tell me that AHS was whining about what I had said. In fact, here's how crazy it really is. AHS has asked the police, they've actually asked the Calgary police to get me thrown off of the ballot. They don't want me running for mayor because they know that I'm the front runner, and they know how serious I am about putting them into handcuffs for every illegal action. That is what I did.
Okay, so I just want to back you up a bit. You did say online yesterday that you plan, if the police wouldn't go to these homes, you plan to arm yourself and show up. Do you understand how that could come across as a threat?
No, not at all, because that would be me acting as an officer of the law. That's not a threat. Again, it's a promise.
And how could you be an officer of the law if you're not a sworn police officer? Do you understand that the mayor does not have that kind of power over the
No, but citizens do. And maybe what we should do here is look into the capacity that citizens have to stop people who are, let's be honest here, guilty of culpable homicide. So it is our duty as citizens, if police will not act, to act ourselves. Yeah, so when tyranny becomes law, hey, resistance becomes duty. That's something you need to understand. Now, I know it's not going to go that far. We all know it's not going to go that far. We know that as soon as I file the appropriate criminal charges against these people, and we get warrants for their arrests, and we get warrants to grab their property, all their personal property, that the CPS will go ahead and just take care of the arrest ourselves. You are smart enough to know that. So
can you tell me, though, why you think it's appropriate to post photos of underage
I didn't. No, yeah, you can stop. No. You can stop that question right there. We put red blocks over their faces because we weren't going to show her kids off. What we wanted to show is that this particular individual who works for Alberta Health Services is an alcoholic, loves her wine and loves her beer. And we also wanted to show the fact that she's having a great time with copious amounts of people, and she's not wearing a mask, even though she's in churches pestering and criminally harassing pastors, telling them that they can't run mass. We are talking about a very evil individual here, and she didn't like the fact that I pointed out to the public that she's a very evil, self-centered, unprincipled individual. Too bad for her.
Do you see that you rile up some of your followers and that they may be capable of doing harm to people?
No, they're not going to do any harm to every. No. See, again, a stupid line of questioning, because I'm sure you've watched my shows, and I tell everybody, do not go to violence. I do not want violence. The reason that I utilize the court system to get done what needs to be done is because I'm trying to set an example for the public that we can still use the courts to destroy the lives of evil people. We don't have to hit them. We don't have to scratch their cars. We don't have to slash their tires. We don't have to do anything at all other than bankrupt them using the courts. That's the example that I put forward. And again, CBC knows this, just like every single police department knows this. I'm pretty sure that you're aware of the fact that there's a dossier on me and my entire crew that every police force in Canada has. And if I had said anything illegal or incited anybody to commit a crime, I'd be in handcuffs right now, which I'm not.
Okay, and so I'm glad you brought me to the court system because I do have this video of you saying doxing is legal when you do it by putting somebody's name and address on a statement of claim, and then because it's a public document, distributing it to your followers.
Well, that's exactly correct. If you put whatever you put into a lawsuit, any accusation that you make, any claims that you make, any information that goes into it, that's a public document that can go anywhere. Period. Now here's the deal with a lawsuit. If I'm going to be serving a lawsuit to someone, their address has to be on it. So what you're trying to do here is you're trying to pull that left-wing bit where you're trying to paint me as a bad guy. And all I did was I quoted the rules of civil procedure. That's all I did. Yeah,
and you said in that video that was a way to legally dox somebody.
Yeah, so what? It's true. That actually is. But my goal is not to dox. My goal is to bankrupt AHS members who have decided to bankrupt Calgary business owners and who have decided to criminally harass people who have behaved themselves like criminals. Criminals need to be punished. And the only thing that I've got available to me right now, because I'm not mayor yet, but I will be in October, is the court system. Okay. And I'm going to use it.
If you make it to the day after nominations, you will have access to the voter list for Calgary, which includes people's addresses. Will you be using that in any other way other than campaigning?
Sorry, repeat that question. That didn't make sense.
So the day after nominations close, mayoral candidates get the voter list for Calgary with addresses next to every name.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, now you can stop there.
Will you be using that for any purpose besides campaigning?
Nope, I'm going to be using it for campaigning because that's going to be the last 5 to 6 weeks of the campaign. I'm not going to have time for anything other than campaigning. Once I'm mayor of the city, all I do is I walk into the police station and say, okay, guys, have a seat. I have multiple criminal complaints to file, and I'd like you guys to take my criminal complaints about these AHS members who have destroyed so many people's lives, and then we'd like to go get warrants for their arrest, and then we'd like to go and arrest them.
Okay, so just to be clear, you are saying you will not use any of the addresses that you get from that list to show up at AHS members' employees' houses?
That is correct. I will not be showing up at AHS's house because I'm going to be too busy campaigning. I don't know if you've ever run a political campaign, but I've done so twice. The last time I ran a mayor race, I finished second in the city of Mississauga. The last 5 to 6 weeks are insane. They are 20-hour days. I don't have time to be fooling around with AHS. But after I win the mayor's seat, I'm going to have a lot of time to make an example of all of those evil AHS people whom have broken the law.
It looks though that you're also, because I saw a post online where you were naming police officers as well. Are you also planning to go after police officers?
I'm sorry. I think maybe you took something out of context there. I haven't named police officers.
Yeah, there was a post with with that woman you're going after from AHS, and then maybe 6 police officers and their last names superimposed over their images.
That wasn't me. That's an independent photographer named Logan. You'll have to talk to him.
Okay, you have nothing to do with that?
I have no control over what adults do. No control whatsoever. If anybody's over the age of 18, that's not a child of mine. I have no control over what they do. So what you might want to do is get a hold of the photographer and have an interview with him.
I guess what I'm wondering is, do you feel the same about police officers who are enforcing these measures as you do about Alberta Health Services employees?
Well, I know that most officers will lose their job if they don't do this, whereas AHS will not lose their job if they don't do this. You see, here's a big difference. That Alberta Health Services, they actually have the option to just not go and bother anybody. They literally have the option to not go into anyone's business and break the law. The police, on the other hand, what they're doing is they're following the instructions of Jason Kenney and or Naheed Nenshi. Most likely it's Kenney telling Naheed Nenshi what to do, and Naheed Nenshi is telling these officers that we'll suspend you without pay and so on if you don't go. And that is the information that I'm sure Calgary Police Services will be sharing with me the day that I take office. And if that's going to be the case, if police were threatened, told to break the law by Naheed Nenshi, oh my God, a national warrant's going out for that guy's arrest. I simply cannot wait to bring balance back to my home country, because the far left, and I'm starting to think that maybe you're a part of that particular crew, have absolutely destroyed what was once the greatest nation in the history of our species. I am disgusted with the way AHS is behaving. I am disgusted by Doug Ford and Jason Kenney and everybody who's decided to put themselves in a position to ruin the lives of hard-working Canadians. It seems like I'm the last guy who's running for office who actually cares about my fellow man and woman. And believe me when I say this, I'm putting this city back to work the day I get in office. So no, I will not be going after police officers to answer your question, but we are going to make an example of everybody in AHS who ever entered one single Calgary business person's property. Trust me, they're going down. They're all going to be wearing handcuffs, and they're not going to like it.
Okay. Thank you very much for talking to me tonight. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Okay. Good night.
Have a good night.
Final conclusion?
Final conclusion is that they're going to take that. They're going to twist everything around.
Oh, yeah. They're going to twist it like
they will put almost everything that they possibly can into the place of being out of context. And if anything is put out of context, I'm adding them to the lawsuit that's coming up. I've got defamation lawsuits coming out, guys.
So this woman's going to be added to it. As if CBC has a Calgary crime reporter.
Yeah, she looks like about a 27-year-old left-wing nut job. And these left-wing nuts are always put in positions of not power, but positions to do maximum amount of damage to average, good, hard-working people. This is not a hard-working person. This is someone who has a really cushy job for a really god-awful government agency. And let's face facts, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation is a Liberal Party agency. All they do is they lie, and all they do is, on top of their lies, is they spew propaganda, far left propaganda. Remember, like what happened 3.5 years ago when they made Omar Khadr, who's a murderer, they turned him into a hero. That's what they do. Here, and a millionaire. That's right, a multi-millionaire. The Canadian Broadcasting Corporation have absolutely no journalistic integrity whatsoever. And they have no journalistic skill whatsoever. If you watch the value of their productions and compare the CBC to just 15 years ago to today's transmissions are a joke. Mm-hmm. Now, I swear to God, they've got high school kids, far left high school kids.
I do a better job.
In there running cameras and running production and whatnot. The whole Canadian Broadcasting Corporation needs to be completely defunded. There's no reason whatsoever to have a national broadcaster anymore, because believe me when I say this, as soon as there is one better alternative out there to Facebook, Canadians are going to go to that for their news and not the CBC or anybody else. So we're going to find out what this person writes, and we're going to put this video out, and then we're going to compare this video to the story that she puts out. And believe me, if anything is taken out of context, I'm coming at it for defamation. It's really that simple. That's it for now, everybody. I love you all, everyone. Watch me live on Rumble, rumble.com/Kevin J. Johnston, Odyssey /@Kevin. I don't even know how Odyssey URLs work, but I'm on Odyssey, guys. Watch me there. Also live on trovo.live, TROVO.live/Kevin J. Johnston. We're still on a couple of Facebook accounts here and there. That's not going to last for much longer, I'm sure. And then we archive everything on BitChute at KevinJJohnston.com. That's it for now, everybody. Kevin J. Johnston here. Don't forget, we have a podcast. My show is live Monday to Friday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Calgary time and 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Toronto time. Peace out.